Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. The optimistic atmosphere regarding a quick formation of a new cabinet do not reflect the reality. Iraqi troops are consolidating gains in their advance on the northern city of Mosul, regrouping as they clear neighborhoods. And President Obama expecting a triumphant Donald Trump for talks on executing a smooth transition of power. The optimistic atmosphere regarding a quick formation of the new cabinet do not reflect the reality, as difficulties are arising and hampering the mission of Prime Minister-designate Saad Hariri. Unnamed sources said that things tend to tilt towards pessimism as for a close cabinet lineup as a result of preconditions set by some political parties. The sources listed a number of issues that the parties still have to agree upon, which they say is hampering a quick formation of the cabinet, beginning with the shape of the government, the number of ministers, and the share that will be allotted for each political party. The distribution of sovereign ministerial portfolios on political and partisan sides are another thorny issue that they still have to agree upon. Iraqi troops are consolidating gains in their advance on the northern city of Mosul, regrouping as they clear neighborhoods and houses once occupied by Daesh. In Mosul proper, where troops have established a foothold in a sliver of territory in the east's east, have special forces taken control of the Zahra neighborhood, once named the former dictator Saddam Hussein's legacy. The regular Army's 9th Division is stationed in East Mosul's Intisar neighborhood, and speaking on condition of anonymity, one source said he wasn't authorized to brief reporters. President Barack Obama is to receive a triumphant Donald Trump for talks on executing a smooth transition of power and steadying nerves after a vote that shocked the world. Anger over Trump's election win spills onto the streets of U.S. cities late Wednesday as chanting protesters lit bonfires and snarled traffic. In Los Angeles, an orange-headed Trump head was burned in effigy. 48 hours after Trump's upset, the 7-year-old president-elect and Obama are expected to meet in the Oval Office for what may be an awkward meeting to prepare ahead of the January 20th inauguration. Trump championed the so-called birther movement, challenging that Obama was actually born in the United States, a suggestion laden with deep racial overtones, only dropping the position recently. Democrat Hillary Clinton conceded the 2016 U.S. White House race to Donald Trump and offered to work with the president-elect, whom she said she hoped would be a successful leader for all Americans.
Last night, I congratulated Donald Trump and offered to work with him on behalf of our country. I hope that he will be a successful president for all Americans. This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election for the values we share and the vision we hold for our country. But I feel pride and gratitude for this wonderful campaign that we built together, this vast, diverse, creative, unruly, energized campaign. You represent the best of America, and being your candidate has been one of the greatest honors of my life.
Demonstrators marched in cities across the United States to protest Donald Trump's surprise presidential election win, blasting his controversial campaign rhetoric about immigrants, Muslims, and other groups. A demonstration of about 6,000 people blocked traffic in Oakland, California. The protesters threw objects at police in riot gear, burned trash in the middle of an intersection, set off fireworks, and smashed store front windows. Police responded by throwing chemical irritants at the protesters, according to a witness on site. Coming up next, an exclusive panel on women in STEM. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We Initiative, in partnership with BLC Bank and Alumni Central, hosted a Women in STEM panel to ask many questions. Why are younger girls not encouraged more often to excel in industries such as science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? What are the challenges women face today, and how can institutions help? And most importantly, can we rewrite the bias that exists in our conscience and culture?
Part of what we do as journalists is share other people's stories, their biggest achievements, their successes, and their trials and tribulations. And a part of these trials and tribulations lies in the fact that even with the progress and the evolution of our times, some matters unfortunately remain obscure, backward, and very regressive. Gender bias, gender inequality, gender parity are just a few of these matters, and they're all related. Now, Lebanon, which is widely considered to be one of the few, if not the most progressive country in the Middle East, is ranked in the bottom 10 in the World Economic Forum Report 2016 on gender gap. So what does that tell you? It tells you that we need to talk. We need to have a very important conversation to see how 50% of the world's population needs to not only be equally included, but also pioneering and take a big part in decision making.
In a society which honestly does not really value hardworking mothers, that my daughters should grow up to be hard workers, and no, you're not doing it for the money, because my daughter asked me that question when she was about, when my elder was about 7, and she'd see me every day exhausted, and she said, why do you do that? Do you need the money? And it hit me like, where did she get that from? And it's sort of, I think it's important to watch out for clues for us who have daughters. So I mentioned something very important. Being in the middle class is extremely, I think, in my opinion, important. And unfortunately, in our part of the world, in the country, so the middle class is disappearing. So you're either in a struggling class or in a highly privileged class, where women at both ends of the spectrum are extremely marginalized. And I think my piece of advice would be, if you have daughters, or sons for that matter, watch out that they don't get the wrong clues. No, you probably might have to be working for money, but you might just be working for free, helping somebody out there, waking up every single day and saying, I have something to do, and I need to balance my duty at home and beside it. So another thing I'm careful about now that I've grown into, well, a certain age. So when I was much younger, I was, one of those proponents to say women and men are equal. Well, no, they're not. And I think that was part of the problem. You mentioned something that we work differently. We are different. When I got married and I got pregnant and I had my babies, and suddenly life teaches you, we're not the same, despite having a very supportive husband. So deluding ourselves more into this mission impossible role, I think, is counterproductive.
Family makes a big difference. People that believe in you around you is extremely important. I was very fortunate. My mom is a career woman. She's worked from day one, has changed many careers, not necessarily in science, but she's been a professor, an editor, etc. And I've always had this example to follow. My father's an engineer, and he's always also been very much behind our education, and I never felt that there was a difference between a man and a woman from when I was extremely small. I used to go to the office, to my dad's office, and I used to go to the office to my mom's office. And for me, it was just simply natural. Both parents work, both parents have a career, both parents have an independent life, and they just move on. When I decided to do computer science, it was just the rise of computers, the 2.0, etc., the internet, and it was just natural for us to go into computer science. And I did that at AUB, and I was extremely fortunate because my professors there was a faculty that were made out of women. And I was very fortunate. And after that, I joined a local company which believed extremely in women developers, extremely. They had a headquarters in Europe, in France, and their development was based out of Lebanon. And their developers, they made it a point to bring developers that were women. Why? Because they were passionate, they were creative, and they found solutions that the men were not necessarily able to find at that time.
It was Warsaw, went to the United States. And here is a common story, I guess. There were 50 people in the class, only 2 women. My first job, 100 people in the department, 2 girls in the department. So, but I never ever asked myself that was different, or never thought of myself as being a woman. I was me. I was somebody who was learning, who was doing my best, who had dreams, who had aspirations, and I always, somehow, there's some voice in me that wanted to go and discover the world. And I followed my inspiration. So I think this is in common also with all the stories that...
What about governance? And you know, we were talking about Lebanon and how there is lack of encouragement, there's lack of standing up for each other, and a lack of, you know, Leah mentioned it, should there be a need for quota? What can we expect, or what should we expect from the institutions to help this positive discrimination?
Well, I think we should not think anything of the institution. We know that the institution is even here or now in the United States. I mean, the politicians are not the people to lead us, because, I mean, they're not going the right direction. I think we should lead ourselves. You know, I mean, I wanted to finish with this, but I'm going to say it now. I mean, my speech is mostly for the women. Start believing in yourself. Start believing that you can take care of yourself. This is, I think, the big differentiator, because women think that, okay, they have a job, but it's like not as important as being married, that at the end of the day, somewhere, somebody will take care of them, will pay the bills, will make them have that car or have that dress or whatever. But this is a high price to pay. It's a very high price to pay. Think about it.
They are they are proving themselves. And when you give the female an opportunity, she will deliver. And we have no issues. And I sat with the female employees at our company, and I asked them, because I wanted to be their boss here. And they told me they have no problems concerning their partners in work or in the family, being in their careers.
Right, because that can be challenging a lot for generally with...
Getting to know that most of our female employees are coming from middle class families, who, as somebody mentioned, that the role of the father and the mother is very important, the environment. And here, Anna, I can ask the question, what does empowerment mean?
It doesn't mean that I had it all. I did not have a supporting husband. I suffered a lot. I did not have a supporting mother-in-law at all. I did not have a mother who could take my children when they were young. My father was so-so anyway, but however,
Not everybody has it easy.
it is true. But you know, one thing is I need to get rid of, if I knew at 20 years of age or 25 to get rid of 3 words. 3 words ruined my life. I mean, until now, of course, because now my life is perfect, right? So 3 words ruined my life is guilt, okay, عيب وحرام. عيب وحرام أتعيوني.
This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our headlines. The optimistic atmospheres regarding a quick formation of the cabinet fade away as they don't reflect the reality of the difficult task ahead for Prime Minister-designate Saad Hariri. Iraqi troops consolidate gains in their advance on Mosul, regrouping as they clear neighborhoods of Daesh. And President Barack Obama expecting a triumphant Donald Trump for talks on executing a smooth transition of power and steadying nerves after a vote that shocked the world. Those are your headlines live on Future Television. Catch us again tomorrow for all the latest. I'm Yumna Nofa signing off. Take care.